There was a knock at the door, and Michael awoke with a start. "Hello? Is Michael home?" said a woman on the other side of the wire. This wasn't right. It was 11 p.m. Michael reached for the porch light to see her and confirm this wasn't a dream. His visitor became illuminated. She was dressed in knee-high boots and wore a worn leather jacket. She had no noticeable facial features except for the streaks of grey running through the sides of her tightly held back hair. "No?" said Michael, feeling daring. "I'm his roommate, John." "I see." She looked down for a moment before pneumatically craning her neck and returning to Michael. "Well, you wouldn't mind if I came in and waited then, would you?" It wasn't a question. The woman pulled back the wire door before stepping onto Michael's carpet. Although a gross invasion of personal privacy, Michael didn't get a chance to interject with a, as she entered. He said he wasn't coming home tonight. Michael avoided eye contact with his guest. She only smiled at him before walking over to his couch. "Rather squalid place, isn't it? You just staying here for the moment, or is this your house?" "It's Michael's. I'm just staying here for a few months," said Michael, standing in front of his seated guest, uncomfortable. His guest began to unlace her boots. "I see, and he alright guy, Michael? Never met him before, to be frank, but I've heard a lot about him." Michael sat on a wooden chair on the other side of the living room as the woman nonchalantly placed her boots on the coffee table with a thud and a rattle of the glass pane. Unable to keep his eyes off the mud smearing his coffee table, Michael felt the queasiness in his stomach bubble to his mouth. "So, can I help you, or?" The woman's smile widened, showing her straight but coffee-stained teeth. "A drink would be nice, actually." Michael walked past her and into the kitchen, but still feeling he had her stare on him. He took a breath. He knew why she was here. He placed the kettle on to boil before thinking of the most ingenious plan. "Ah, there's no milk," he shouted to his guest, grabbing his jacket from the kitchen table. "I'll just head out for 2 minutes and grab..." She was standing when he walked into the living room. "Nah, I think it's best you stayed." Her hand moved to her backside. Michael was ready to dive into his kitchen before his guest spoke again. "Ah, keys. Been sitting on them all day, I swear to God." She tossed them into the air before catching them again. "I'll just have it black anyway," she said, gesturing towards the kitchen. Michael brought her coffee out to her. "Good stuff," she said, only breaking eye contact to look at the contents of her mug. "So your roommate, know much about him?" Not really. He just sits in his room all day on his computer." Michael did his best to imagine what John thought he would be up to. "Well, your roommate hasn't just been sitting on his computer browsing forums, let me tell you." She laughed. Michael's stomach churned. "Anyway, I won't bother you with the details if you aren't aware of what he's been doing." Michael felt that he may have her. The churning suddenly alleviated. She seemed to believe his facade enough, and Michael began to pride himself on his newfound acting ability. "Yeah, can't imagine old Mike's been up to too much bad," said Michael. "Yes, well, not really for me to comment, hey. Not my role." "Yeah, fair enough," said Michael. "Hey, you wouldn't mind if I, hit the hay for a bit? I'm awfully tired and I've got work in the morning." "No, not at all. Go ahead." She smiled at him once more before Michael turned for the hallway. It was as easy as he thought. It was just a matter of going through the bedroom window now. A smirk ran across his face as he darted down the hallway. His guest spoke. "You really don't think they give me a fucking photo when they send me out in these things?" Michael tried to turn to his guest, but only made it about halfway. "Oh, hello. Yeah, I wrote this story about 10 years ago when I was at uni. I think it was for a writing exercise, like in one of the classes, just asking us to write a story about, with the prompt, there was a knock at the door. I thought I'd write a more grounded, less supernatural short story, with a bit more subtext, characters not exactly saying what they're meaning. I feel like I've improved a lot since I wrote this story, but it holds up, I think. Anyway, if there's anything you liked about the story, if there's anything you didn't like about the story or the video in general, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Yeah. Bye.